You know, when people talk about idol groups, they usually picture shiny pop stars in matching outfits, smiling under bright stage lights, but imagine that same formula transplanted into the world of boxing, where young fighters aren't just athletes chasing belts but packaged, promoted, and presented like superstars in a boy band, with carefully curated images, rivalries, and even fan service designed to keep the audience hooked, and that's exactly what's been happening behind the scenes in these so-called boxing idol groups. At first, people thought it was a gimmick, a flashy marketing trick to grab some attention, but then the fans started showing up, not just for the knockouts and the blood, but for the personalities, the drama, the backstories. Suddenly these boxers weren't just fighters, they were characters in a saga, living avatars of people's dreams and frustrations. You'd see them on social media, posting selfies at the gym with captions like, "Chasing greatness," or dropping cryptic emojis that had their fanbase dissecting every detail, wondering if it meant a feud with another fighter or a hint at an upcoming match. And the fandom wars, man, they got just as heated as the fights themselves. There were fans who swore loyalty to one fighter the way K-pop stans defend their bias, and whenever two idol group boxers crossed paths, the internet went up in flames with hashtags, reaction edits, and conspiracy theories about who would come out on top. Behind the curtain, managers were orchestrating everything with surgical precision, choosing who gets to fight who not just based on rankings but on narrative impact, who's the rookie with the heartbreaking backstory, who's the veteran fighting for redemption, who's the bad boy that everyone loves to hate. One of the craziest stories I've heard is about a young prospect who got drafted into one of these idol groups after being discovered not in a ring but at an amateur showcase that looked more like a concert than a fight night, with smoke machines, synchronized entrances, and even choreographed routines before the gloves touched. He barely had 10 fights under his belt, but the moment the cameras zoomed in on his face, fans latched onto him like he was the next big thing, plastering his photos all over Twitter, editing highlight reels set to dramatic music, and turning his underdog journey into a living meme. And you know what? The pressure of that spotlight, the constant attention, it either breaks these fighters or forges them into something terrifying. I've seen training camps where the guys push themselves not just to be strong enough to win, but to look good doing it, perfecting the way they throw a punch, the way they stand on the ropes, the way they talk at press conferences, because they know the cameras are always rolling. It's like boxing has become this hybrid of combat sport and entertainment empire, where the story matters just as much as the skill, and every victory or defeat feeds back into the legend of the group. Some of these idol groups have signature themes, almost like wrestling stables, with matching gear colors, coordinated entrances, and even catchphrases that their fans scream back at them in arenas. And if you think that's too much, you haven't seen the way sponsors eat it up. Big brands love the crossover appeal, sneaker collabs, energy drink deals, custom walkout songs, and suddenly a fighter who hasn't even hit championship level is being marketed like a rock star. But here's where it gets even juicier: rivalries between groups. Imagine one camp of fighters built around discipline, humility, and the classic, fight for honor, image, squaring off against another camp that thrives on arrogance, trash talk, and controversy. And it's not just about who wins in the ring, it's about which philosophy of boxing will dominate the culture. I've seen fan accounts go to war online, trading clips, making edits of knockouts, digging up old sparring footage just to prove their guy is better, and sometimes that online tension